Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, let's go over the market, even though not much happened and on. Well, I mean, I guess the market itself, a lot happened, not for Tesla. So Tesla pretty much ending the day flat today, up 0.19%. It did actually start the day off down, I think it was about like 2.5%, maybe 3% or something like that. And then it sharply rose in the morning. Like the second it touched 210, it just sharply rose up. And right here you can see. So pretty much started all the way down here. Let's see how much was this down? It was down roughly... just over 2%, right? And then we pretty much sharply rose all the way from 210 all the way up to 221. And then we retreated and then pretty much went straight sideways the rest of the day. I personally did enter a trade, day trade. I entered it at 210. It was like 210.8 or something like that. I bought 50 shares in my smaller account and then sold it around 218 for that kind of profit. So I'll take that, it is what it is. But I'm still holding everything on my main account. I actually sold calls for tomorrow. Nothing crazy, but just... profit is profit nonetheless, right? But either way, guys, let's talk about it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's see what we have in store for us today. So first and foremost, guys, one thing I do like is the fact that we did end up closing... one second, let me go here, rather. That's the wrong thing. We did close higher today than we closed yesterday. So that's a good sign. The fact that we can close higher than yesterday's close is a good start. I do like that, obviously with the green day and everything. That is not too shabby. However, you can see quite a lot of selling pressure did come in as we came up to this area, the red line, etc. Pretty much around the 220 level. Quite a lot of selling pressure did come in and slap us back down. However, relative to the market, you can see Tesla being up, of course, 0.2%. Not too bad at all, considering SPY was down 1%. The QQQ, or just the tech in general as a whole, was down 2%. I mean, even Apple was down over 4% on Apple, which for Apple is a decent amount. I'm not gonna lie, part of me wishes I wasn't such a Tesla simp, because I would definitely be looking to start, slowly buying Apple as it keeps falling, because I think it will, but as it keeps falling, I would. But I'm just too much of a Tesla simp, so I just only really focus on Tesla. But anyway, all that being said and done, does this, what does this mean, right? I did say yesterday how I thought that the move is overall a bear trap. For Tesla, that seemed to be the case. It was kind of a bear trap because, we did obviously not only rally from a -2 to green, but we actually maintained the green as well. However, the market, not so much. Another red day for the market itself. So I was, I guess, half right, you can say, in a way. However, the thing that's important to note is the fact that not only is Tesla severely outperforming the market, which is not a bad sign in general. Tesla is known to kind of do its own thing sometimes. However, also the VIX is still red. 2.5% red on a red market day. Look, with again QQQ down 2%, SPY down 1%, right, and the VIX down 2.5%. Again, that to me, similar to yesterday, is still very suspicious. When I see these kind of things, I'm very suspicious in the opposite way. So we'll see what this leads into. I'm personally still thinking this is an ultimate bear trap. I still think we're gonna get a pretty sharp rally potentially, maybe even starting tomorrow, because it just looks really suspicious to me. We'll see though. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Again, everything I say is not financial advice. Make your own decisions, do your own research, all that stuff. But Tesla's not looking that bad. I mean, granted, of course, this is a long wick at the top. The fact that we closed above yesterday's high or yesterday's close is a good sign. Overall, we are still setting an arguable higher low on the I gotta sneeze, guys. Let me mute for a second as I sneeze. Excuse me. All right, so we are setting up essentially a higher low on the RSI. You can see on the daily, which again is a slightly longer time frame, but ultimately that's not a bad sign, right? That's really just not that bad of a sign. Even on the 4-hour, we're setting a higher low potentially as well here, right? So ultimately not that bad, right? So I kind of like the way it's overall looking, right? It could be better, but it could also be substantially worse. And ultimately it's not looking too bad. On the shorter time frames, however, it's not looking as promising, which tells me that there might be short-term weakness. But I mean, we kind of are seeing it at the very moment, so that could be what it is. But ultimately on the daily, it's not looking that bad. We are just setting higher lows on the RSI as the stock is essentially going a little bit lower than the levels or we saw back here. So yeah, it's a little bit hard to say for sure, guys, but ultimately from just what I'm seeing, again, not really much change from yesterday. I personally still believe that we are looking at a potential bear trap. Now, the one thing that has me a little bit concerned about that is the fact that the VIX, I mean, that's a lot of red, right? I mean, the VIX has just been pretty much plummeting straight down for like 2 weeks of trading days or something like that, maybe even slightly more than this, or than that rather. So, just out of you just expect it to get at least some kind of bounce, but the fact that it's not getting any bounces even on these kind of red days is just really strange, man. Something about that is just not really adding up here, right? Something just does not make sense to me here. But the main thing I usually see, again, if the VIX follows the market, so again, red market, red VIX, that's a bear trap, and vice versa, right? Green market, green VIX, potentially a bull trap coming up, right? That's kind of like a basic way that I personally see it. So other than that, there's really not much more to update, it feels like. Let's take a look at overall, things we care about. The emo, we're still up below that, unfortunately. We're pretty much still dancing more or less around the Bollinger Band. But you can see how we squeezed over here, right, on the Bollinger Band, how we kind of, so here, look at this, guys. This is pretty important. So you can see how over here we squeezed on the Bollinger Band, right? How it got the green and the white, the green and the red lines kind of got tighter, like closer together. And then we exploded upwards. Same thing happened here. It got it tighter a bit, and then we exploded downwards. And now it's kind of doing the same thing here. It's actually getting quite tight here. Like it's getting pretty much even tighter than all these areas that we saw back here. Like it's getting really tight in this little area. It's like very, very like highly congested area, right? What does this mean? This means that there's going to be a pretty explosive move coming pretty soon, right? Doesn't have to be necessarily tomorrow. Could be next week, could be the following week. Again, this is on the daily, right? However, this does signal to me that we are approaching a fairly explosive move relatively soon. No one knows when, but that's what it's saying. So we'll see when it comes to that, right? Even if you go to like the 1 hour, you can see it is getting quite tight ultimately. So yeah, there's going to be some pretty serious moves coming up. I'm personally still leaning towards the upside, but it's, it could, of course, go to the downside. I personally think it'll go up to the upside. That's my current guess. That's my current prediction, but we'll have to see some confirmation first, right? Again, the main things you want to see, we want to make sure that we are maintaining above this, right? So unfortunately, we did get rejected by the 10-day moving average, which isn't the best thing in the world. We definitely want to find a way to get back above that. And that's number one, right? We definitely want to see that. Number two, we also definitely want to get not only back above the 220 level, but most importantly, the 230 level. We definitely want to see it get past that. And a potential short-term squeeze, if that tightness explodes to the upside, can be the pressure that can get us past this massive resistance at 230 that has rejected us several times. However, on the flip side, if we pretty much lose 204 and especially close a daily candle below 204, if that ever happens, guys, that's looking pretty bearish. I will say that is looking pretty bearish. The volume today was also a little bit on the lower end as well, right? It's a little bit, I mean, it kind of makes sense considering Tesla went flat, right? So just a little bit shorter volume there overall. So that's not, too surprising in my opinion, but yeah, this is just a wild market, guys. This is a wild market, a very scary one. Again, this is a market that I personally believe if you're being very greedy, you will get destroyed. It is just simple as that. And by greedy, I mean playing with options, at least relatively short-term options, especially. If you're doing anything like that, again, just my advice or just my opinion. It's not a financial advice or anything like that. That is how you get wiped out in this market. That is how people will lose a lot of money in this market and potentially go into severe debts. That is not what you want to do, especially on margin, right? That's not what you want to do. I'm personally not doing that. I don't touch margin. I don't even touch options. I only touch options if it's strictly a hedge against shares or I am selling options, which in that case, I'm only, for instance, selling calls, limiting my profit, and selling puts. Technically, you have infinite downside, but that's assuming you want to buy it back. Worst case scenario for me, if I sell puts, is I just buy shares at a price I would have bought probably regardless anyways. That's the way I personally view it. To me, that's very low risk because the absolute worst case scenario for me in that sense is the fact that I just own shares. And obviously over time, I think we all know where Tesla should be going. It's just the short term that is just the unclear part, right? That is how I see it. If you're playing options and you're buying options, again, don't forget, guys, that can go to zero, and that's not money you can just get back by waiting it out necessarily, right? If it goes to zero and that option especially expires worthless and you're out, that's it. That contract, that deal, that trade is completely gone, vanished. Someone lit it on fire, is done, right? Unlike something like shares, for instance, right? Where you can just wait it out. On a good company, of course. Anyway, that's a completely different topic. But either way, guys, that's kind of what I'm seeing in terms of technical analysis. Not a whole lot to update for Tesla, mainly because, it is a fairly flat day. We did go up and down quite a bit, but we ended flat. But we did bounce off a pretty crucial level, which I do like to see. We did hold above the level that I talked about yesterday, being the resistance level, the retracement level, which, of course, is going to be... This doesn't seem correct. Actually, no, 213. Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. Around the 213 level, we did stay above that, which is great, and we closed above that, which is great as well. So, not too bad, guys. Not too bad. We really want to see some follow through coming up here, especially if the market maybe decides to finally have a green day tomorrow, which I think it will. I really do. I'll be surprised if tomorrow is not a green day for the market. I think that should hopefully help Tesla continue this momentum that is really trying to hold today, which it did fantastically, by the way, which I'm very happy because technically Tesla should have been down about 3.5% today if it followed the market, but it didn't, which is great. So all that being said and done, guys, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.